Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful rose choker. It's perfect for adding a feminine touch to any outfit. This rose is super versatile. You can literally turn it into any kind of accessory. Attach it to a hair tie, add a pin to make a brooch, or use it to decorate belts, bags, and headbands. It's also very easy to customize, so you can just adjust the size up or down to fit your project or personal style. This tutorial is great for confident beginners or intermediate crocheters. You will need to have some basic crochet skills, and it only takes a few hours to complete. So grab your hook and yarn and let's get started. You will need some yarn, and I'm using cotton yarn. You'll need a 2mm hook, a scissor, and a sewing needle. This project is perfect for using leftover yarn because you don't need that much of it. The first step is to make a magic circle, like this. Then you'll chain 3, and this counts as 1 double crochet. You can tighten it a bit to make it easier to work with. Then you will make 11 double crochets into the magic circle, which is 12 double crochets if we include the first chain. When you made 12 double crochets including the first chain, you make a slip stitch into the third chain here, and then you chain 3. From this round on, all double crochets will be worked in the back loop only of every stitch. For round 2 here, you're gonna make 2 double crochets in every stitch all the way around the circle. When you made your way around, you're gonna make 1 double crochet into this stitch right here. This only applies for this round. And you should by the end have a total of 24 double crochets, including the first chain. You'll end this round by making a slip stitch into the third chain right here. Again, make a chain of 3. For round 3, start by making 2 double crochets into the first stitch, then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. And then you just repeat this pattern. 2 double crochets in one stitch, then 1 in the next. Do this all the way around the circle. You should by the end have a total of 34 double crochets, including the first chain. You'll end this round by making a slip stitch into the third chain right here. Again, make a chain of 3. For round 4, start by making 2 double crochets in the first stitch, then make 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Again, you're gonna repeat that pattern, 2 double crochets in one stitch, then 1 in the next 2 stitches, all the way around. You should by the end have a total of 48 double crochets, including the first chain. You'll end this round by making a slip stitch into the third chain right here. Then you pull out the yarn and cut it with your scissor. Then you should have a circle just like this. Now it's time to start forming the rose petals. We'll be crocheting into the front loops of the double crochets from the previous rounds, the ones you see here. You can start at any point on the first circle here. Pull up a loop through the front loop to begin. You start this round by making a chain of 3. I recommend that you take this yarn end here and use your sewing needle to pull the end through the base circle. That way it stays out of the way while you crochet. After you chain 3, you're gonna make 2 double crochets into the same loop here. Then you're gonna make 3 double crochets into the next 2 loops. Now chain 3, this will count as your first double crochet. Then turn your work. Next, make 2 double crochets into the first stitch, which means we got 3 double crochets including the chain. And then make 2 double crochets into the next stitch as well. From here you'll follow a pattern. Work 3 double crochets in one stitch, then 2 double crochets in the next. And keep repeating that sequence all the way around. 3 in the first, 2 in the next, 3 in the first, and 2 in the next. The last 3 double crochets you're gonna insert in the third chain of the chain right here. By the end of the round, you should have a total of 24 stitches, including your starting chain. Now you make a slip stitch into the base circle, into the loop that's 4 loops over from the current petal, which means you have to skip 3 loops. Then turn your work and make 1 single crochet in each stitch across the petal. When you made your last single crochet on the petal, you again make a slip stitch into the base circle, into the loop that's 4 loops away from the current petal. Now you're just gonna repeat and copy the petal you just made. I'll show you one more time. Start by chaining 3, make 2 double crochets in the same loop, then make 3 double crochets in the next 2 loops. Then you chain 3, turn your work, make 2 double crochets in the first stitch, 2 double crochets in the second stitch, then you make 3 double crochets in the next stitch, and again 2 in the next. And you continue like this, 3 in the first, 2 in the next, 3 in the first, and 2 in the next. Now you're gonna make a slip stitch in the loop right here, which is the loop right next to the previous petal. Then, as the round before, turn your work and make 1 single crochet in every stitch and meet me back here when you've done this. Now you finish the first set of petals on the first row of the base circle. And now we're gonna move on to the second row. Make a slip stitch in a random loop to start making the petal. Again, you'll just repeat the previous petals that you made. And when you made the 2 first rows of this petal, meet me back here. Since this is the first petal of this round, we're gonna go back to the previous circle and make a slip stitch here. You're gonna make it into this loop right here, which is the one right next to the previous rose petal. This only applies for the first petal of this and the next round. Then again turn your work and make a single crochet in every stitch. Meet me back when you made this all the way across the petal. Now, as the round before, you make a slip stitch into the base circle, into the loop, which is 4 loops over from the current petal. At this point, you continue following the same pattern by crocheting petals around the base circle, just as you did with the first 3 petals. You do this for 2 more rounds. The first round you made has 2 petals, the second round should have 4 petals, and the third and final round should have 6 petals. When you made your last petal on the third row, you're gonna slip stitch into a loop just as you've done on all the other petals. Then you're gonna pull the yarn through and cut the yarn. Then you need to sew in all your yarn ends, except for the end that is closest to the center of the circle, because we're gonna use it later on in the project. And your row should look like this. And now you're gonna go on to crocheting the band that will go around your neck. You'll start by making a slip knot like this. Now you need to chain 350 or keep chaining until your piece measures about 170 centimeters or 67 inches. But feel free to adjust the length, make it as short or as long as you like. When you've done this, meet me back here. When you've reached your preferred length, you need to make 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way through the chain. You will start by the second chain right here. When you made single crochets all the way through the chain, meet me back here. When you've done this, pull out the yarn and cut it with your scissor. I usually make a knot here, just so the band has a more rounded end. You also need to sew in the ends of this band. When you finish the band, you just need to sew the rows and the band together. This is the reason we left 1 yarn end. We needed to sew in the band. So grab your needle, put the yarn through, and then you sew it just like this. Don't sew it too tight. When you finish doing this, you need to sew in your yarn end. And that's it! Your rose choker is all done. I hope you had a great time crocheting along with me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, feel free to give a thumbs up and leave a comment. I'm always open to feedback and would love to hear your ideas for future projects too. And don't forget to subscribe for more easy and fun crochet tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.